At the heart of Seattle's bustling tech district, the headquarters of Aerodyne Technologies stood like a fortress of innovation. Known for its cutting-edge aerospace designs, the company was working on what it claimed would be a game-changing propulsion engine, one that could revolutionize space travel. But after months of trial and error, the entire engineering team was at a standstill. Every prototype failed. Millions of dollars had been sunk into the project, and investors were beginning to ask uncomfortable questions. Inside the executive conference room, the atmosphere was tense. Engineers were presenting yet another round of disappointing results. Mr. Grayson, the company's demanding and often cold CEO, leaned back in his leather chair with a scowl. "We've hired the best minds from MIT and Caltech, and still no one can fix this mess," he muttered, shaking his head in frustration. As the lead engineer stammered through another excuse, Mr. Grayson's tone grew sharper. At this point, maybe even the janitor's daughter could do a better job. Laughter broke the tension for a moment, nervous and forced. No one took the comment seriously, but down the hall, just outside the glass walls of the lab, the janitor, Luis Martinez, had overheard every word. He said nothing, but a girl standing beside him tilted her head with a raised eyebrow. 16-year-old Maya Martinez had just finished her school day and stopped by the office to wait for her dad to finish his shift. She wasn't just any high school student. Maya had a passion for engineering that rivaled professionals twice her age. Self-taught through online courses, YouTube tutorials, and free MIT lectures, she spent more time building models and solving equations than on social media. "What was he talking about?" she asked her father. Luis hesitated. "Nothing serious, just work stuff." Maya stepped closer to the conference room window and peered in. She could see the digital blueprint of the engine on the screen. "That's their design. Can I look at it closer?" Luis gave her a nervous glance. "Maya, that's not really—" Before he could finish, the glass door swung open. "Mr." Grayson had spotted them lingering. His eyes narrowed, then widened slightly when he recognized the girl. "You're Luis's daughter, right?" he asked. "Heard you've got an interest in engineering." Maya nodded confidently. "I do, and I think I see a problem with your design already." The room went still. One of the engineers chuckled under his breath. But Mr. Grayson, either out of arrogance or genuine curiosity, waved her in. "All right, genius," he said with a smirk. "Show us what you've got." Maya stepped into the room without hesitation. Her father stood frozen in the hallway. Inside, the screen glowed with equations and mechanical drawings. Maya stared at it for a few moments, her eyes scanning quickly. She pointed at a segment near the engine's core. "You've got a misalignment in the intake valve calculations. The timing's off. It's subtle, but it throws the whole system." The room went silent again, this time with less laughter. The silence in the room stretched longer than anyone expected. Engineers exchanged glances, some skeptical, others curious. Mr. Grayson, still half smirking, folded his arms. "And what makes you so sure?" he asked, his voice edged with challenge. Maya didn't flinch, "Because if the timing is off by even a millisecond, the combustion sequence won't stabilize. That's why your test runs keep failing. You're chasing airflow issues when the problem is in the input delay." One of the junior engineers leaned in toward the screen, eyes narrowing at the part Maya had pointed out. "She's not wrong," he muttered. The lead engineer stepped forward, tapping on the digital blueprint to expand the section. "Wait, this might explain the instability curve we've been tracking." Maya, emboldened by their reaction, pulled a small notebook from her backpack. She flipped to a page filled with equations and diagrams. "I've been working on a modified intake algorithm. It redistributes the fuel-air mix more efficiently and adjusts the ignition sequence by about 0.02 seconds. If you overlay it here," she pointed again, "the engine should hold combustion under higher pressure loads." No one laughed now. Mr. Grayson gestured for the engineers to run a simulation based on Maya's adjustments. Fingers flew across keyboards. The room watched in anticipation as the system processed the data. The graph began to climb, stabilize, and hold, a result they hadn't seen in months. The simulation was a success. Gasps filled the air. A few engineers broke into applause. The lead engineer shook his head in disbelief. "How did we miss this?" he whispered. Maya stood calmly, though her heart was pounding. Mr. Grayson's smirk had vanished, replaced by something else, disbelief mixed with awe. He approached her slowly, looking at the girl as if seeing her for the first time. "Where did you learn all this?" Maya shrugged. "Online classes, free lectures, I like solving problems." Her father, still standing at the door, had tears welling in his eyes. For years, he'd seen Maya bury herself in notebooks and model kits, but he never imagined she'd walk into a boardroom and stun some of the brightest minds in the industry. The CEO turned to him. "Luis, your daughter may have just saved this company." He looked back at Maya. "How would you like a summer internship here? Paid, of course. Full access to our labs." Maya's eyes widened. "Seriously?" "Very seriously," Mr. Grayson said. "You've earned it." Within days, news of the event spread throughout the building and beyond. An internal memo titled "The Janitor's Daughter Who Fixed the Impossible Engine" circulated among staff. By the end of the week, it hit the local tech blogs. What started as a sarcastic dare became the company's proudest moment. Maya returned home that evening a little overwhelmed, but glowing with pride. Her journey had just begun, but she'd already proven something powerful. Genius can come from anywhere, even a high school girl with a notebook, a dream, and the courage to speak up.